Good day, good people, and welcome to Real Chicks Rock Presents Real Discussions. I am your host, Michelle Dusbird, and as always, I am super excited to be here. It is a beautiful day in the neighborhood here in Atlanta, Georgia. We have beautiful skies, warm weather. Wasn't that way all week. It was a little cold, man. I had to turn the heater on. But today it's a nice afternoon, and I'm so glad that you are spending some time with us this afternoon to be a part of this conversation and hear what we're talking about today. I want to thank all the new listeners, and for all of those that are new, let me give you a little bit of background about what Real Chicks Rock is all about. We're all about creatively collaborating and connecting to raise awareness regarding issues that impact women, and we do it by way of community service, public speaking, mentoring, and we do it on this platform, which has been, the arts. We've been doing this for quite some time. I say it, I'll say it again. Our first show was in April of 2016. Yes, and so we are here continuing to have informative and powerful conversations. And today is no different. Today is no different. My topic today is love and healthiness.
Love it.
Don't you love that? I love it too. And I have my brother today, Brother Akhenaton Bey. How are you today?
I'm wonderful. And when I saw that tag there, I said, look at her.
Yeah.
I went to Al Green, you know what I mean?
Yeah, I was. Just a
happiness.
smidgen. Just a smidgen.
I know, that's creative.
But I said, no, because you have a lot to share. And so we're going to dig right into it. So, where are you from? Philadelphia?
Philly.
Yeah.
City they call so-called
brotherly love. Did you see the love when you were a young man there?
I got an opportunity to feel some of it.
You got it?
That's right. First from home,
Okay.
That's where it always starts.
Okay.
The love starts there, right?
Okay.
But in general, you get to the real people. Mm-hmm. You can feel the love.
Okay. So life for you as a young man in Philly. Give us a little bit. Neighborhood kid, just playing around, having a good time, hearing music. A lot of good sounds came out of Philly. Come on,
the sound of Philadelphia.
Come
right?
on, Gamble and Huff and all those guys.
I
know about that. I know a little something about music. So you grew up having that at least as your backdrop, right?
No doubt about it. No doubt about it. Music was my thing.
Yeah.
I got the blues side from my father.
Yes.
And the gospel jazz
yes.
from my mom.
Awesome.
So all that blended together, in the R&B.
Nice.
So yeah, music was my love. That's why I had to go into radio.
Yeah.
Everywhere I went as a child and growing up, teenagers, I used to go wherever I went. I had to tune into different radio.
That's right.
I love radio, and one of the aspects of the aspects about radio is music.
Music.
Getting that out, right?
Yeah. So you was already addicted to the music and just touching the dial from when you was little.
That's right. And when I came here to Atlanta, that's what I did. Started the dial.
You started
checking out
the dial.
Finding out what was what.
Yeah. So let's put a pin in that. When did you come? When did you arrive to Atlanta? What was the reason for you?
Well, the reason I came, good question. I came here. And it connects with what you're saying about my upbringing.
Yes.
I was really fascinated by Egyptology.
Okay.
And guess how I got fascinated by Egyptology?
How so?
Through music.
Okay.
And you know who, right?
Earth, Wind, and Fire?
Come on now. That's right.
Nice. Oh, yes.
So yeah, that really impacted me. And I came here because there was a symposium it was called Egyptology at Morehouse College.
Wow.
Right? There were a lot of Egyptologists that were coming there and it was due to speak. And I was just fascinated. I said I had to come. Then when I came, I checked out Atlanta. You know I like the weather, right?
Yeah, the weather is awesome.
That is Philly, it. How
it's
cold it get in September. You know what
I mean?
So we just have a small window of real cold versus up there. So I like the energy, and I thought the energy with us.
Yes.
People were working together.
Yes.
Somebody told me when I came to Atlanta, say, if you can't make it here, you can't make it nowhere.
Wow.
You ever heard that?
Yeah, I heard
That's
that.
what you tell me.
I heard that. They say that about New York.
I don't know if it's too much of hype or what.
They say if you can make it in New York, you can make it anywhere. But Atlanta was just I understand exactly what you're saying. It just seemed like a city of black excellence before we knew what that was.
Before we knew.
and opportunity.
Right.
where you could have a little bit of money
Right.
and be okay.
That's
You're like
right.
living okay.
That's
like
right.
a little piece of car,
Yeah,
a little bit of apartment, maybe you had a roommate,
Right.
a couple of groceries,
Uh-huh.
and still have some fun in
That's
the
right.
midst. So it just seemed, and the weather was 9 months
That's
of
right.
pretty good weather.
That's right.
I mean, I put my winter coats way in the back of the closet when I moved here. I said, you don't really need to wear it here.
right.
And from what I can tell from Philly, when I saw I'm aging myself.
Mm-hmm.
When I saw Rocky Balboa run up them stairs and saw that cold come out his mouth. I mean, every shot in the Rocky movie was cold.
right.
You know, I was like, well, it's cold in Philly. So you made the right decision.
They
But I
sure
want to
did.
talk about this Egyptology, right?
Mm-hmm.
What is that really about for our listeners to understand?
Well, that's about our history that they like
Yes.
to, suppress. You know,
That's
I don't know
another
if
thing.
you heard, what was that, sister, the one that's in the news a lot now, with Will Smith. What's her name?
Jada?
Jada. She had something she was going on, and people were challenging her about the melanin aspect of Egypt, right? And so that's some of the history, and we can go back to many of the real scholars that went in, like Dr. Ben Yochanan, and Dr. Chancellor Williams, and Dr. Diop.
Yeah.
Right?
Okay.
Dr. Diop was the one that really exposed that the people from Egypt, the pyramid builders, were melanin down.
Yes.
people.
Yes.
So
It
that
makes
inspired me.
sense.
Yeah.
It just makes sense. Geographically, it just makes sense.
That too.
Yeah. I mean, come on. Yeah. So that got you into understanding more about us as a people, where
Right.
we come from, and even just as important, our contributions
There you go.
to civilization.
That exists even now.
Yes,
We're
sir.
on that foundation.
Yes.
Many people don't realize it, but it's hidden in plain sight. These are things I talk about. I'm a divine minister, Grand Sheik, and chairman of the Moorish Science Temple of America.
Yes.
Founded by Prophet Noble Jew Ali back in 1913. And that's one of the things we talk about.
Right.
Egyptology is
very
very much
important.
a part of that because our connection there. And so the spiritual aspect is what really embraces me.
Okay.
And it is interesting how my namesake Akhenaten, my birth name is John Settles, right? And people get confused sometimes when they go to Facebook.
Yeah.
But my legal name for over 30 years has been Akhenaten Amin Ra Salam Bey, right? And it was like an epiphany for me going back to childhood. I was studying, it's like books would just fall in my presence. Something like George Washington Carver, right?
Yeah.
The plants would talk to him, well, books were talking to me,
you.
Michelle, and I always would come up with Akhenaten. And now people are recognizing his influence and his impact even to this
Wow.
day. That's still being unfolded. So that's what directed me in that direction of really knowing thyself, always on the pyramid or the temple. Say know thyself. So what is it about ourselves?
Right.
And in our teachings that as Moorish American Muslim of the Moorish Science Temple of America, one of the doctrines is we have a body, we have a soul.
Okay, now.
But we're not the body, nor the soul. We are essentially spirit. Okay? And that's what we need to know. All right? And that is something that always attracted me, and understand that if we don't know that aspect, we can never really master our environment.
Right.
Master our health.
Right.
So to know ourselves, though, we have to love ourselves.
Yes, that part.
That part, indeed. We got to love ourselves. And then part of that Moorish doctrine is love is the only savior of the world.
Wow.
And we are essentially that spirit of love. Right? And we've been taught, really, in this society, we've been indoctrinated to really hate ourselves.
I know.
And especially for those who are considered so-called black, Negro, colored.
Yes.
Which these terminologies we move away from because that doesn't attach us to our ancestors. That's why we embrace the aspect of Moors, who, as G.M. James said in his book Stolen Legacy, that the Moors were the custodians of the ancient Egyptian mystery system.
Wow.
So we're the ones who went from Africa into Europe in the quote unquote dark ages and enlightened them.
Wow.
With knowledge, science, cleanliness.
Everything.
Got away with it rid it of the Black Plague that was up there.
Yeah.
Showed them the importance of running water, bathhouses, right?
Yeah.
I mean, that's just the facts of history, right?
Yeah.
And we impacted every area of education and allowed people, no matter race or ethnicity or even religion, allow people to have access to that knowledge. Now
So-
we see that's a little bit different today, right?
Yeah, and you said a lot. You said a lot. We got a lot to unpack there. I want to talk about love is a component. It is, and it is very important. And yes, we are taught to not love ourselves. It's almost a competition, or we're taught to believe that we're never good enough.
That's right.
We're not good enough.
Exactly.
We feel that we have to work harder. We have to be smarter. We always have to be ahead of everything that's done.
Right.
But our contributions to civilization and society just speaks volumes.
Yes.
Continuously. I think, Brother Bay, when people think about love, they think about it in more of a physical sense, right?
Come on now.
Right? A man and a woman, ideally, or two people sharing an experience or
Right.
space. They don't understand the power in which you're saying that love is so powerful and that it is a healer and can be used
Right.
to heal, to educate, to inform, to comfort, right? But again, we are so conditioned of the physical sense
That's right.
that we're not allowing love to be that spirit in
That's
which
right.
which flows through us like water and air and everything else,
That's
right?
right.
So
That's
am I? I'm talking.
You on it. You on it. You teaching there.
Yeah,
I'm just getting my lesson.
So, but what I want to understand, Brother Bay, the witch doctor name. Where do we get that? Because to the naked eye or ear, that seems like a conflict.
Right.
Because
Oh,
you're
no
all about
doubt.
love.
That's right.
And then here we are, you,
About some witches. huh?
AKA the witch doctor. How did you get this name?
You know how that happened. As you know, I've been with WRFG for 40 years now. Going 40 years. WRFG, if I
Yes.
can give this shameless
Yes,
plug.
yes.
89.3 FM.
Yes.
And we're not only terrestrial radio at 89.3 FM for us Atlanteans
Yes,
of Atlantis.
yes.
Okay.
Yes.
We also are celestial because we are live streaming on the World Wide Web at WRFG.org.
Okay.
And some youth, you know, we got connected. We're celebrating 50 years, really,
Yes.
of free press. That's what WRFG represents. Listener-sponsored, community-sponsored
Yes,
radio. As
yes,
you see,
yes.
I get, real passionate
Yeah,
about
yeah,
this
yeah. Go.
because we need
Yes.
our own narrative.
Yes, we do.
contrary to what I like to call, and this is why I love what you're doing right here, because this is the counter
Yeah.
of the mass mainstream mind manipulation media. Because that's all it's about. It's corporate control, and we don't get our narrative.
Exactly.
And so it's important for us. And when I say ours, because this is we about humanity.
Yeah. And community.
But we must understand exactly in community. But we have to understand that this false ideology of racism and white supremacy has an impact on us all.
Yeah.
Not only those who have predominant melanin,
Yes,
right?
yes.
But us as a whole in
Yes.
humanity impacts how we relate to each other, how we can even love each other.
Right.
But we know that we are the contributors, the first civilizations in the world. That's documented, as Earth, Wind, and Fire says in the song, written in the stone, right?
The element said that.
That's right. The element,
The
of the
element
universe.
said that. Yes.
Earth, Wind, and Fire. Maurice White, honors to him.
Yes.
He's an ancestor now, but truly one that inspired me. So we have to understand that impacts us.
Yes.
It's no difference. And this is why I come from the spiritual first. Because what we do in the unseen impacts the seen. The visible. You can't have the word invisible without the word visible.
Visible. That is correct. That's correct.
So whatever there's on the unseen, there's the seen, right?
Yes.
And
yes.
so, but we must realize how life work is always from within out.
Yeah. Yeah, and that's what I want to say about WRFG, because you have a sense of community there.
No doubt.
Because there are people there that don't look like us,
That's right.
but believe in us.
That's right.
And there are conversations that are
Good
held
point.
there.
Glad you brought that up.
Yeah,
That's
that are projected through those airwaves are about empowerment. It's
That's
about community. It's about coming and working together and loving each other as is.
right.
Right?
That's
That has always been the message.
And you got all ethnicities
All
there.
ethnicities there. So yeah, I think that's important to just say it's not just people that look like you and I,
Yes,
but it's
right.
people that believe in the human race, if you
That's
will.
right. That's right.
And believe that the platform should be designed to speak truth,
To
right?
power.
And to educate listeners
That's right.
is really what it's about. So shouts out for the station for allowing you and
Indeed.
others to do that for so many years and not
It's
have
humbling.
to compromise the message, and you still have the listenership.
That's right.
So people believe in you because you've been on the radio for a long time. And your shifts are like not what like late in the night, throughout in the morning.
I've done, because I've been there so long.
Yeah.
I've done morning radio, afternoon, evening.
You've been all
radio.
over the dial.
But predominantly, unfortunately, I've been at late night. You know, either it's 10 p.m.
Yeah.
and now my show is midnight to 3 a.m.
Yeah, yeah.
So I tell people so I can make sure I plug myself. You could catch me on Twins Day. Right, Twins Day, so you don't get it twisted. It's Tuesday night
into
early
Wednesday morning.
because over the standards over here, the new day starts at midnight.
Yeah.
So it's Wednesday officially, midnight to 3 a.m. So I got 3 hours to really stretch out.
Yeah.
That's the benefit of the
Yeah,
late
yeah,
night,
yeah.
if anything.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
back to your question, I was not only did we just celebrate 50 years of alternative radio and free press, freedom of speech, all that, right? Independent media. But also, it's 50 years of hip hop.
Yep.
And I bring that up because WRFG was the first in Atlanta to really bring in people that you would
underground stuff. Yeah.
But now they forget about
Yeah,
us.
yeah.
Some of them come home and
They do.
acknowledge,
Yeah,
right?
they do.
But we're proud of the fact that that's what we did. We promoted hip hop
Yes.
early on.
Yes.
And I'm often reminded by KRS Minister Server, who comes down to WRFG often and contributes. He says hip hop is higher infinite power, healing our people. Yeah. All right. Now we bring this up because you still ask me about my name, Witch
That's
Doctor,
right. That's right.
But what do witches do? They've been given a bad name, right? The image. That's why I say we rely on other people's narrative.
Yeah.
But the witch doctor is the scientist. He understands the herbs, he or she, and many of those who are called witches because they understand the herbs, where modern allopathic medicine comes from.
I got you.
Is basic medicine comes from the earth, the medicine, right?
Yes.
Then it gets synthesized with other chemicals and so forth. But the witch doctors understood that relationship of earth and how the body relates and other things, and they were crucified. Literally, they were burned at the stake, especially women, because they were doing midwifery, and so we know we can go into that. Witches have been given a bad name. So a young brother shared with me some of the Dungeon family, taking us back, right?
Yep.
And it was a brother that was named the Witch Doctor. Come from SWAT healing ritual, the Southwest, right?
Southwest.
ATA,
Yes.
right? And one of the brothers that speak on it was Kevin Sips. He's a poet in Atlanta. And he the one that wrote about the witch doctor, and it's called spells, right? Because we always associated weaving spells, right?
Yes.
But when I relate to spells, we're looking at an esoteric or metaphysical aspect. Because with words we spell, right, Michelle? So we always spelling.
Yeah, we are.
We weave spells with our thoughts and feelings. So it's the vibration that we bring.
Wow.
So a young brother shared this with me, and it kind of latched on the witch doctor. And one day, one of his promoters or manager called me up, said, "You using his name?" He said, we honored, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And so I use that a lot. And that's where the word witch doctor comes from, because it is to counter the narrative of the negative of the witches and warlocks.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, and let's talk about that a little bit because of the intent of your role or your title as a witch doctor, as the witch doctor. You say the herbs from the ground provide nutrients and things that we need. Let's talk about that a little bit. Did you always study that based on the Egyptian lifestyle, or how did you come about making that connection or be so passionate about health?
Okay.
Healthiness.
All right, that's the other side of me. Okay, I have always been fascinated. I'm gonna go back to my childhood.
Yes, come on back.
I always appreciated the unseen, as I said.
Okay.
And so that took me into electronics. You know, because you can't see electricity.
You just know it's there.
And you can feel its
You
effect.
can feel it.
Right.
Put your hand in the
know,
socket.
right.
You know it's happening. Okay.
Right. So that, brought me into understanding atoms, molecules, etc. Right.
Okay.
So I was on that trajectory, right, of about the unseen. And so I also was fascinated about health because I got exposed. I started reading things. I think one of the first things that exposed me to health was actually Muhammad Speaks. Elijah Muhammad had a book, Eat to Live.
Okay.
And then what really took me over was Baba Dick Gregory. And his book and his influence really took me to
Yeah,
another.
boy.
And and this is when I was a teenager.
Yeah.
So back then I had stopped, I threw away meat, especially when I got exposed to Dick.
Yeah,
right? Baba
you
Dick.
really stopped.
I said, stop eating the meat, right? And went more vegetarian.
Yes.
Now people use the new lightened word vegan. And all that, right? So, so this was, let me tell you, this is back in 1978.
Wow.
Yeah.
Long time.
Yeah. And then I got exposed to Lyve foodists.
What's that?
Iris Latham. If anybody doesn't know him, you look him up.
Yeah.
The Quatamanis and one of who I call like my godfather, my spiritual father, who's an ancestor now.
Yes.
Heli Baba, out of Philadelphia. They had a restaurant, right, and it was called Kebalan. And the Kebalan Inn, and they featured all live raw foods. Now, what that is it's actually the other term that like Aris when he says sun-fired food.
Okay.
Because our vegetables, fruits are energized from the sun.
Right, okay.
And so we get that nutrients from the sun and in the ground. So we're getting the elements back to earth, wind, and fire, right? We're getting the element of the earth.
Yeah.
We're getting the air. We're getting that vital sun that's important for all of us. 'Cause without the sun, right? So I always tell people about it's more important first in priority, thoughts.
Okay.
Is our real nutrition. All right?
Yeah, what you think?
What we think. The next thing is sun. Because without sun, we wouldn't exist for not even a second, right? The next thing is breath, because we could hold our breath for some time, right? Then the next thing is water, the liquids and water, right? And then food, the solid food.
Yes.
So in that order. So I got real excited about and doing the research, and over time. Some people know me as being the pioneer of live raw foods here in Atlanta.
Okay.
Because back in the early 90s, it was a restaurant that I had the lights of the garden. Some people remember that.
I remember that.
Had it first on Marietta, right down the street from CNN. And that was the small cafe there. And then the other one, 12th and Juniper, which Einstein was there, but now it's a whole different thing, energy down there, right down the street from the Playhouse. So we became live foodists. I was one of the pioneers, and we had 2 restaurants here. Then went to D.C. In Georgetown, had a restaurant there, went and opened it up. And because of my skills with construction, I was the one to go and set it up, open it up, right, and do the build outs. And so we did one in Georgetown on M Street. Then we did one right across the street from Howard University, right up the street from Solvez, right? Then we started another stint. Some people interested. We started out doing some little franchise. We started in Cleveland, one in Chelsea, New York, and one in Berkeley. So that was the Lights of the Garden, and that was something I wouldn't do again, based on that, because you using your own money, right? And trying to move out that quick. We did this in a few years. Having those restaurants. And the Lights of the Garden, back to music again, come from the Last Poets. See, that's how much inspired.
Those guys. That's for those guys.
That album was so influential for me, And so that's where I got the idea of the Lights of the Garden from. Right? So this is what inspired me to do that, because I looked at family members. I don't have some of the stories that some people had. Like they say they were sick and things like that. I didn't have that. But I saw people around me. That impacts you, right? And I wanted to do something about it. So I was a researcher, just like I did with Egyptology. I researched about nutrition and health. And you would think I would have went to school for it, right? But actually what I did, I developed a organization called Armana. Armana, going back to Akhenaten again, is a city that him and his wife, and he was about family.
It's just important.
Akhenaten, and he's one of the unique pharaohs who, when you look at the murals or the hieroglyphics, the writing on the wall, Akhenaten and Nefertiti were at the same height.
Nice.
Whereas other pharaohs put their wives as small and all that. But he also had his children, right? Because that's where family begins. That's where a nation begins, with the family. So with understanding Egyptology and Cornell, Armana became an organization that was about, and it means, basically, when you break it down, because more means love. You know, going back to music again, Stevie Wonder. My chérie amour. Cherish love, right? So more is the essence. When we say God is what? Love. Right? So when we have more, spelling again, right? That you're saying that your vibration, your character is love. So that's another reason why I relate to that aspect of more. It also, in its etymology, going back to the ancient Hebrew, Aramaic, the language that Jesus and them spoke, right? It means light. So when it says, let there be light, right? There's the more. And it says God is what? Light of the world. So those corresponding things, when we learn who we really are, we might really respect ourselves a little more.
He said might. We're working on it. And I think that over the years, over time, we definitely have taken more of an interest of self. As a people, right? As a community, as an individual, right? Understanding what works for us, what we like and what we don't like. And even if we don't like it, if it's better for us, we'll learn to gravitate to that. Because I think that we are learning and we desire to have a healthier lifestyle. And the lifestyle will encompass love, more of a spirit thing than it is a physical thing. But then we also have to understand not only the words of affirmation or being intentional in the thought, it's the action that has to come with that, Brother Bay. And so the foods and the things that we eat, let's talk about that, right? So you've been in this space for a few decades now. Do you feel that our food options and choices have gotten better or extremely worse?
Worse.
Because of greed or things or evolution or global warming? What are some of the reasons why?
I would say all the above that you mentioned.
Okay, brother.
But let's look at the things we can control.
Okay.
Right? We know that our farms have been tampered with, right? So the practices are not like our ancestors did, where we would rotate our crop. That's number one. the importance of rotating your crop so it won't strip you of certain minerals. So they, would put another plant there that wouldn't strip it of that.
Right.
Today, with corporate greed, they all wanted that piece of land. They're going to keep planting corn, keep planting corn. So this happens with a lot of our foods, which means our earth has been tampered with, has been nutrients. The nutrients are not dense like they used to be. So there's a deficit of minerals, and the minerals, which has these electromagnetic energy that's good for our body, are missing. So I adopted this philosophy, and shout out to this guy who's called Mineral Doctor. His name is Dr. Joel Wallach. He came up with a philosophy that I adopted, understanding, because he did there's a thick page document in the Smithsonian Institute that they did these autopsies on, right? So they were pathologists, right? They went through, tested them, and found out certain diseases were related to certain mineral deficiencies.
Wow.
Now I didn't even get to the part where there's GMO now. Right? Which is really taking us off the path, because you're changing the divinely genetic code that the Creator has for it, right? So we've gotten worse in that sense, and we're not even educating us. Ourselves.
We're not.
So this is why I do what I do with Amana Wellness, right? And why it's important, why I lace that in my radio program to reach people. And of course, we talk about it in the Moore Science Temple, right?
Yes.
Because it's important to get this, because it's lack of knowledge. What does it say?
No perish.
A people will perish for lack of knowledge. So that's where it starts. And if whoever's controlling it, this is why, thank goodness for what you do here, to be the alternative, so that people can have options. Because you talk about options. But if you don't know about the options, right? Then you're only taking what they give you. And theirs is, the bottom line is not people, it's profits for them.
It's profit. And even through options, Brother Bay, we can have, you can reach those options through moderation. Because sometimes you can't just, if your life depends on it, then you may have to quit some things cold turkey. But I think that the more we're educated and understanding, like I said this to somebody the other day, we don't, and I'm not a vegetarian, I'm not vegan, but I understand. Sometimes I feel like I need to pause that, because we don't even know what that animal was going through.
Exactly.
At the time it was being sought out to be slaughtered.
That's right.
It could have been sick. It could have been, and again, it's an animal, but I have to believe there's some sense of emotion. If it's a hen that's able to produce other chickens, right? That you're a mother, that's baby chicks. There's the circle of life. There's the evolution. There's things put on the earth to reproduce. And so when this animal was being sought out to be slaughtered, we don't know what was going on with that. And so, and it goes through a process, and it's packaged for us, and then we eat that. And we're taking on something that we have no idea what that went through.
That's right.
And I'm just because it had veins, and it was pumping blood. It had, it was a thing.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Versus a fruit or a vegetable that you pick from a tree. Now we could pick it prematurely, and then it's not sweet enough, or it's tart, or it's sour, but it didn't have nutrient deficient, but it didn't have a heartbeat.
Right.
It's different. And maybe if it's nutriently deficient, you can hook it up with something else to create the balance, or repurpose it, right? Make it a smoothie, or do something with it, right? But I thought, and I was like, the person said, "Wow, that's really a good point." I said, "We're taking on we're eating these things, and we don't know what it went through to be served on our plate. Real talk. And I think it's just, we're thinking it, but now we have to be more actionable to be like, no, I don't. And it's difficult because I think people think that if you don't have meat, you won't get full. Or if you don't have meat, you won't get the proper protein and nutrients that beef may give you, or chicken can give you, or even fish. You know, because there are people that just eat fish. And so I think it's important that we continue to educate ourselves and listen to our body, because as we're getting older, we're going to say goodbye to someone, extended family member. She just transitioned. She was 102. On Saturday morning when she went on, and it was almost like I spoke to her grandchild. He texted me and told me about it, and I said, "You okay?" He said, "Yeah, we're fine." We were all with her. She had conversation with us before she left. Right. And I said, so she was ready. Had a mentality? She was mental. Okay. She was mental, but it was almost like she had the power, in a sense, to say, I'm tired, I'm ready to go. I've given this planet 102 years. Yes. And y'all are all here. I love y'all. Right. You know it.
I did all I could do for y'all. I did all
I can do, and I'm gone. And
that's powerful.
It's powerful. Yeah. And so as we want to see 102. Right. We want to see that. We have to change. Right. Our energy, Brother Bay, and our vibration, and the food that we think, even the things that we put in, as you say, our top, the thought, to help us navigate differently. To say, I'm not going to do that, because it just doesn't make me feel the way that God had intended me to be, which is my best. Right. Right. My best. Right. Not to be tired when I'm supposed to be up, and not to have sleepless nights. It's a lot of people not sleeping.
Yeah, right.
You know what I'm talking about? Yeah. Like, they are not sleeping because of worry, stress, and it could be dietary. It could be just because of what they ate for dinner, which was hours before they lay down to go to bed. That's so right. the love and the healthiness today is so very important, because it's not only we're talking about love through the spirit, but what we put in our mouth to even allow us to continue to vibrate in a spirit of love. Because when you don't feel well, doggone it is hard to be your loving self.
That's right. That's right.
You know what I mean?
You don't even want to prepare nothing for yourself.
You don't want to talk to nobody. You don't feel right. You feel you got to lay down. Right. You're not operating in a space
in your optimal
space.
And you spoke on something very serious, and this is one of my teachings we were teaching today, just before I came over here at the More Science Temple. Yes. Feelings we disregard. The power. We don't realize how powerful feelings are. Yeah. How feelings are the deeper aspect of emotion.
Yes.
Emotions are energy, for E, in motion. And you said feelings, which relate to vibration.
Yes.
See, we can feel people's vibe.
All the time.
And that relates to how we feel.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
That goes along with some of the people may recognize the 7 Hermetic laws, right? This come from ancient Egypt again, right? And it's our Moorish philosophy,
right?
Part about Moorish doctrine. Every vibration has a gender.
Wow.
And we associate feeling or emotions with more like women, right?
With females, right?
And we got to recognize, we are all male and female.
Right. Yeah, people don't want to talk like that.
23 chromosomes, that's right.
Yeah.
And 23 from your father and your mother.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And you have both of them in you. All right? And so this male and female aspect of ourselves, we got to recognize. And so now I'm gonna take it up, and then we're going to go back down.
Okay.
All right? Because I always said thoughts are important.
Very important.
But feeling, there's always a vibration of feeling associated with a thought.
Yes.
Love is a thought, but it's also a vibration.
Yeah, it is.
Love is a thought, but it's also a feeling. You can't have one without the other. They have to come together. This is what manifests a child.
Right.
This is what manifests a fruit. You have to have a seed and you have to have an egg. You have to have the seed or the egg carrier, the soil, right?
Yeah.
And so the reason why we do some of the things, let's look at the word. We're going back to spelling. 'Cause
Yeah.
I had this thing with words. And you might get it out of me occasionally in here, right? So dis-ease is lack of ease.
Okay. Yes. Yeah.
That's the origin. I want that to hang in the air for a little bit. Dis-ease is lack of ease. It starts in your mind
Yes.
and your feelings, right? So the things that we go through, and now I'm going to take it down a little bit further.
Come on.
Because what you related to about animals, when animals are going through things, when we go through things, we have certain hormones that are released.
Yes.
Cortisol.
Yeah.
Right.
Yes.
We have adrenaline.
Yes.
Right. And these go into the bloodstream, which goes into our cellular structure. Right. So when we eat animals, we're eating the fear.
Yeah. Yeah.
No wonder some of us are chicken.
Yeah.
Losing coverage.
Yeah. Yeah.
Now I'm just using that in fun.
I know. I'm with you.
I want people to understand, like, through I go, and I'm gonna share this book with you.
Yes.
Right. Because when I'm as a quantum wellness coach, I don't take people and say, "Hey, just stop."
Right.
No.
Right.
I take you where you are. If you're going to choose to eat animals, because I say it like that, because the real meat is like watermelon. We say the flesh of an apple.
Wow.
We
He
say
said,
the meat.
he took us all the way down. He said, watermelon is real meat.
That's right. Isn't that what we say? Right? The meat of a watermelon, whatever, right?
Okay, yeah.
That's the real meat.
Wow.
That's what it says in Genesis 1:28, 27, right? It says, let the fruit be your meat.
Yeah, that's
right?
what it says.
That's what it says.
Woo.
So, spelling, right?
Yeah, wow.
So here it is. So I tell people, if you're going to eat it, get it free range, organic.
That part.
Because the things that really killing us, even more so, are the chemicals.
The chemicals that are
right?
hurting us.
Now look at how the Bible, in the Bible, in Hebrew culture, and the Muslim culture, right? In the Torah, right? And in the Quran, they both tell you how to prepare an animal.
Okay. Yeah.
And how they slit it a certain way, right? So the blood will come out, and there'd be less of an impact of their emotions and all the poisonous toxins that get into their body, right? Now you don't get rid of all of it,
right?
You know what I mean? Because the thoughts are instantaneous, So the animals feel too.
They do,
right? So we end up ingesting their fear.
That's what I'm saying.
We're ingesting their poison. Now we go a little further, because like you said, in the day you asked me how it got worse.
Right.
So right now, if we look in the industry, and this is part of our research at Amana Wellness, right? And that is, you'll discover that some of the practices of these slaughterhouses are outrageous.
Wow.
They have no consideration for these animals. They don't get sunlight, air that's supposed to
eating grass, eating right properly.
Actually, eating proper grass.
Yeah.
They beat them.
Yeah.
Before they die.
Jesus.
And because of profit over people.
Yes.
If there's cancers in that animal,
we getting it too.
You're getting it too. They don't take it off.
Yeah.
Sometimes they might cut it away. But what's happening to the rest of the body?
Yeah.
But sometimes they may leave it there.
Yeah, we don't know.
We don't know, right? So this is why these practices gotten so far away from it when we have others rely on them. When we have others that we rely on to furnish our food.
Yeah.
So this is why food sovereignty is a issue.
Yeah.
We need to learn, if you're going to have animals, have somebody that you have built a relationship with. Because when I was coming up, my great grandfather, I seen him slit a hog, right then and there. I seen him grab the chicken, right?
Yeah.
And they would eat them right right
Yeah, right
afterwards, they
then.
would clean them.
Yes.
So you know what you got, but you
Yeah.
don't know what we have.
I
now.
don't know what we get now. But
Did you hear this story about one time in McDonald's, I think it was, and this was like maybe 30 years ago, maybe 40, right?
Right.
Where they found that they had kangaroo meat.
Ugh, yeah.
So you don't know what
You
you're
don't
getting.
know what you're
really,
getting.
right?
You know what you're getting.
You don't know what
My family's from Jamaica, and my
All right.
grandmother, I remember my uncle, her brother,
Mm-hmm.
he had pigs and hogs in Jamaica, and you're right. And it wasn't a rushed process.
Right.
They wasn't out there slaughtering every time you turn around. It had to be, it was time,
Yeah.
but it was a process of loving the animals, water, sun, air.
Come on now. That you say that's good. They were loving that.
Like
See, that
the proper food, making
Right.
sure it was eat. So at least when you had that, it tasted sweet.
That's
it
right.
tasted delicious.
That's right. Whole different love
it's
energy
a whole
in
different. You eat the eggs. The chickens are loved on in the sense that they're producing healthy, nice eggs, and you eat them, and so
Yeah.
it has a different sense of wellness or healthiness
That's
to
right.
it because
That's right.
of what you're giving the animals and what you're exposing them to, and then that's in you're eating it, and I don't know if that lessens any of your guilt from eating it, but it just tastes good.
No doubt about
we
it.
We just have to be more mindful
Right.
of what we put in our body. But Brother Babe,
And when you said, because I want to capitalize on the caption of the show, love and healthiness.
yeah.
See,
yeah.
the love comes before that.
Yeah, it does.
You
Yeah,
see, we
yeah.
can't even be healthy unless we're loving.
I know.
We have to love our environment.
I know.
We have to love the animals.
Yeah.
Right? We have to make sure love has to be the first of that.
Yeah. And in conjunction to that too, we got to slow down too. We are so got to get here. I got to do this. I got to be over here. We're so on a schedule that we can't take the time to properly prepare
your
meals.
And what has that happened now? Fast food.
Fast food. Or sometimes it's economics. And we talked about it just prior to us starting. You need a revenue or some source of capital, something, to be able to go and pick decent produce, to eat food and proper vegetables, or even grow it. Now, I know a lot of people, if they got a little bit of space, if they got any kind of yard, they got a garden.
That's right.
They got a garden. They are they're growing their own basil, thyme, all that stuff for seasoning, cucumbers, a watermelon, a little bit, anything that they can grow in their own, and they're so proud, and it tastes so good. Tomatoes.
And not only even if they don't have a garden,
Yeah.
they put it on their patio.
Yeah.
In apartments.
Yes.
Put it in their kitchen.
Yes.
There's things we can do.
Yeah.
But if you don't know, you don't know. Right?
Yeah. What's next for us? How should we continue to evolve? I'm hearing we should research, right? Because realistically, we have the internet now. Everything is a click away. Whereas before, we'd have to go to the library. Maybe we go to conference, get word of mouth, that type of thing. So now we have the internet. What else can we do to be empowered to understand what we should and should not be doing when we eat?
Continue with shows like yours, right? That are educating and inspiring,
Yes.
right? And the people that you expose, and I'm grateful for being here.
Thanks.
And again, I want to apologize for what happened.
No worries.
Of not being here on the last one.
No.
But it's a point that I'm driving at, why it's important and why I wrote this book with my co-author. Self-care. Notice the and that's your gift.
Thank you.
It's the ultimate self-care guide for healing artists. So our target and the brainchild of this, and I recommend for you to have Sister Vasandra Kennebrew on your show, because she's a girl that rocks.
Awesome.
She's a real chick that rocks.
Yes.
Right? So it's her brainchild, but she invited me in to be a part of this, and one of the brainchild goals was to have a 30-city tour. And we went on this tour together.
Yes.
30 city love tour. That's what we call it. The
Mm-hmm.
love tour. And in this book, right, we were targeting our healing artists, whether you are a health practitioner that's professional, or whether you're a coach, all around. But we wanted to make sure we target them because they're the ones that serve us.
That's correct.
And often what I found, Michelle, that a lot of our healing artists were suffering themselves.
Wow.
And they were alternative, so-called, alternative practitioners into alternative medicine or integrative medicine, right? And it goes back to self.
Yeah.
Self-care is self-love.
It is.
So I love me has to be the key.
Important. Yeah, top of the chart.
Yes.
Yeah, it's important.
I love me. And that's the affirmation. I don't know if you noticed, I use your post and I converted it using a song called I Am affirmation. Because everything begins with I am.
I am. Yeah.
It's not out there.
Yeah.
See, accountability starts here.
Here, within us.
Within.
Yes.
And so God is no respecter of person. And what did Moses say when he asked, who should I say send me? I am.
I am.
That I am.
Yes,
who can say I am? Raise their hand.
I am.
There's no respect of person. But what you attach to I am.
Yeah, that's the powerful part too.
Islam?
Yeah, that's
so
the powerful
I
piece.
am love is the mantra and the thing that we use as a practice.
Yes.
Right? And in that book, shout out to Kofi Kwandani, who does, his modality is dealing with meditation, right? And in meditation, he's been able to actually help people heal.
Awesome.
Just through meditation, and that's thought and feeling.
Right.
And then we went in through and dealing with, because you're talking about what can we do now.
Yes.
Right? We went in and talked with different healing artists, that professional and what they did, and we discovered some of the things that they were lacking was that self-care.
The self-care.
So whatever they are dealing with, they transfer to
that. Right. That
us.
part. Yep. Yep.
So we had to work with them, but all of us, we recognize all of us are healing artists.
Yeah.
Even if we hurt, the mom put your hand over the thing that hurt.
Yeah.
Right? But that's the vibration, and it helps, doesn't it?
It does
right?
help.
Our grandmothers had these old grandparents, they have these remedies, these home remedies.
Yes.
That work.
It does work.
Right?
It does work.
So self-care is important because a lot of us, even as practitioners, we put so much of our energy on what we do, what our passion is, and we forget who.
We forget ourselves. We forget ourselves. We do. And that's why no is a full word, it's a full sentence. And then sometimes you have to say no. You have to say no.
Right.
And I don't take it personal that you weren't able to be here before because you had to be where you needed to be. It's all a part of the journey. And you were probably somewhere where you were getting fed as you were feeding other people. So it's
the self-care part.
The self-care part. Exactly.
During that time,
you were very busy.
Not only that, I had somebody T-bone me.
That's right. That's right.
With my wife, right?
Yeah, yes.
And that was one thing. And then I was planning for the time I lost my mother last year.
Yeah. My
and so all these things came together. But again, that's still self-care.
You gotta
see. We can't get away from accountability because I did. I had to hold myself accountable.
Yes.
Just like not being here and depriving you and your audience of this opportunity.
Right.
That's why I'm so thankful you.
No, I'm gonna give up on you. I'm gonna give up on you.
and there's things that I neglected.
Yeah.
During those times. Now some things we can't control.
Yeah.
But that's when the self-care regimens must set in. So I talk about things like things I enjoy doing, and we get people. It's like a 30-day challenge that people go through, and we give you these suggestions of what to do. Find things that you love doing. Like I love outdoors, nature. I gotta have it to de-stress.
Yes, absolutely.
Because when we say dis-ease, right?
Lack of ease.
Right? And so there's a book called, I'm trying to remember her name right now, but it's called Feelings Buried alive. So a lot of feelings we take from traumatic situations that have happened to us in childhood.
Yes.
Not to mention the post-traumatic slave syndrome that some of us went through the transatlantic slave trade and the one that happened here on this soil even before then. Right? Those are things that go down the genetic stream and impact us. That we have to open up and do our best to heal. Right? So there's certain modalities that I work with, and we go through like essential oils, massage, and also Vasandra, who I just spoke about, who's the co-author here. She does a thing called the art of touch. Because many of us are touch deprived. And this impacts how we feel about ourselves. Right? So even right now at 5 o'clock, she's doing a session. And, you know, fortunately, as we were talking about earlier, you know, the big C word, right? That had its blessing too. Because it enabled us to do some of the things we're doing now. You know?
Absolutely.
So we reaching more people virtually. We can reach people virtually now and have interactive sessions going on. So she's doing one now. Anybody want to know about that, they can go to my
let's
Facebook.
talk about how can people find you.
Well, they can start at my website is Akhenaten Bey, AKHENATENBEY.com, and you'll find a place where you can get the book. It's on Amazon. And as I was saying with the book, it also deals with, because this is what I was coming to again, it has some recipes in there.
I saw a couple.
Even though I'm a proponent of live raw foods, vegan, vegetarian, we deal with people where they are.
That's right.
So they'll find some that have some
Southwestern salmon and black beans.
Come on, see that?
That's on page 51. I'm gonna get to know that some more.
So that's that Jamaican energy.
That's what that is. I love it, man. I appreciate you today. This was awesome. Thank you for your time today. Again, tell the people where they can find you.
Okay, well, anybody want to contact me, I open, my phone is available, 404-963-4514. Also, Akhenaten Bey, that's AKHENATENBEY.com. That's a way to connect. I'm also on social media. We do things, again, I didn't get a chance, but this is a bioresonance device. And what it does is capture your voice, right? I know we only had a few moments here, but it captures your voice. I'm going to give you an opportunity to experience that, and any of your guests, if you have something that come up with your audience, I'll give them opportunity. You know, you share it over with me, and all they have to do is give me a sample of their voice. We could do it long distance, right? And like physically, it'll actually scan your body as well and tell you some things that are indicators that we need to address down to a cellular level. When I got in tune with this, I said, because I used this for some time with another doctor who has this machine that's almost like thousands and thousands of dollars. But we have it here.
Wow, that's awesome.
So we give those people an opportunity as well. So 404-52, I'm giving the station 404-963-4514, and also AkhenatenBey.com. All the information is there. You can connect on our social media as well.
It's a pleasure. Thank you. Thank you so much. Very informative. Yes, that's what we do here. Listen, that's my time here today. You know me, Real Chicks Rock, we're everywhere. Listen, we got a couple of things coming up. We have it is today Genesis album release party, listening party. Today is November 5th, right? Today's the 5th. It is the 5th. We're going to be at Moods Music from 4 to 6 p.m. So yes, when I finish talking here with the lovely and intelligent Brother Bey, I'm going to run over there and host that conversation. She's a previous guest on the show, so we're excited about her album release. And then we got a toy drive and party coming up Saturday, November 11th at Buteco. It is free from 8 p.m. to 1. Bring a toy. All toys will go to the Atlanta Children's Shelter. Yes, we blessed them last year. They said, come on back, Michelle, and bless us again. So we're going to do that, partnering with DJs Debbie Graham, Kevin Latham, and the Women's House Music Collective. So there you have it. I am Real Chicks Rock. You know me, I'm everywhere. I am on Twitter, formerly known as Twitter. It's X now, right? Facebook and Instagram. Go check out the website, realchicksrock.com. Cop your t-shirt there. We got merch over there. Subscribe to the YouTube channel. Hit that notification bell so you will never miss another episode. And before I leave, I always like to leave you with this. Frankie Crocker. Yes, 107.5 WBLS in New York. We grew up with him, and he would end his show by saying this: may you live to be 100, and I live to be 100 minus a day. So I never knew that beautiful people like you had passed away. Until next time, be well, take care, and continue to rock on.
Awesome.
Pretty baby, you are the